Hello and welcome to the channel. We are the Hollow Grumps. I am Colum.
And I'm Liam.
And we're here today to talk to you about WandaVision, the new Disney Plus series set in the Marvel Universe. The elephant in the room that we haven't put out a video in a year. Liam, what did you think of WandaVision?
It was great. Let's just move past that. And before we start, guys, there's going to be spoilers, so you might as well see yourself to the door. Vamoose.
Get out.
Yeah.
Shoo.
Get out. Shoo.
Like and subscribe though, just before you do that. Need that.
But anyway, yes, I loved it. I'm just going to say flat out, I loved this show from start to finish. Episode 1 and 2, I was grinning, smiling, laughing my head off. And I'm no shill. I'm just saying that. But I know very little about Marvel in general. I know the MCU. But so my overall initial reaction is I loved it, enjoyed it, and had a lot of belly laughs. Colin, what about you?
Didn't love it. Wasn't like this is great. This is high society. I thought it was great background video, but I really don't like shows with canned laughter. I know it's all satire to a certain degree, but it was really just a nostalgia trick. Like, that could have been replaced with any show, and then all of a sudden it has like horror elements in it as well. And that's the only part where I thought it really got good. You were always watching out for the parts that weren't conforming to the formula of situational comedy.
Do you think the show was inspired by Too Many Cooks?
Yeah, it could have been. Now, to be fair, if anyone hasn't seen Too Many Cooks, you're in for a treat. We're not going into details. But I think it could have been because it is really that kind of vein of just everything's rosy, red and perfect, and then it just progressively gets more frayed and unwound.
Yeah, see, I don't think that the canned laughter is going to remain for the whole show. I think that's what gives it that creepy element, because when the real world does slip into the show,
it's still there.
It still is there, but it becomes a bit more maniacal. And that's what gives it that creepy feeling. If there's just something not quite right about this, that we are in the real world, but then all of a sudden there's laugh tracks coming in. But I like that because I don't think it's going to remain. But if it was just that's the general thing that they're going for in the show, yeah, maybe it wouldn't work. But I'm holding out. I'm optimistic. I think it might be good.
Okay.
So this show is directed by Matt Shakman, the whole show. So Colin, that'll be good news to you as someone who loves Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
43 episodes. Yeah.
He's also known for House MD, and I saw somewhere that he's known for Westworld. Maybe he jumped ship before it became terrible.
Maybe.
Yes. So episode 1, I didn't get the name for it because I couldn't find it.
Isn't it just episode 1?
Episode 1?
The pilot.
The pilot, written by Jack Schaefer, who's a woman. Just when I have to point that out. It's not Jack as in Jack. So, a couple of things about the episode. It starts off with them moving into town. So what were your initial thoughts about that, Colin? Did you think they were going to know that they were in this sitcom world?
Do you know, I came into no kind of assumptions. I was just spent the whole thing watching it, looking for all the little nods to stuff that I might be able to pick up on. And, like, there is a few, but I thought the idea of them not really knowing, really, we don't know if they know, because the way they act is it's kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Like they are in this world, but then they realize that things aren't from this world. One thing I would comment on that I don't know if it's part of it is the fact that Wanda's voice has completely changed to an American voice, but that's peculiar.
Yeah, they do play on that, and that goes into episode 2 as we see the seeds of their little utopia kind of being ripped apart throughout the
Utopia Planitia.
No! But the thing to observe is that they actually both still have their powers, and that's kind of the gag for the whole show.
Trying to hide their power. But it is very much like, what is that show called? Bewitched? Where a lady, she's magical. Okay. And she wrinkles her nose and magic stuff happens. Yeah, it very much plays on that as well. It's also Sabrina as well.
Yeah. And then there's another film that I remember seeing as a kid, and I think it was Pleasantville
with Tobey Maguire.
Yeah. I think that I'd say I haven't looked into it, but
Well,
I'd say that's
to be honest, like I said, it's drawn on loads of other kind of tropes and sitcom ideas to put them all into this one thing, make it really, really satirical, and kind of make it hyperbolic, basically.
And I think people need to be aware that it is very unusual as a show to go into. Like, it's not going to pick up directly where Wanda and Vision left off, because obviously Vision is dead. Spoilers! Right. But we don't know in the show. That's the thing. That's what we need to figure out. Has she somehow brought him back, or is just her somehow coming to terms with the fact that he's dead? Because, yeah.
So, for those of you that are colorblind, this is in black and white. And there's only in the first episode, one instance of color. And you don't notice it until it's literally blinking in your face. There's an advert for a toaster made by Stark. The Toaster 2000, isn't it? And
yeah, because everything's 2000.
And everything's just blinking. It's just blinking there, that red light. As a matter of fact, that's actually the only color that they actually use in both episodes.
Yeah, in general. So you have like blood, and then you have the little, what was it, the little airplane? Or helicopter.
Helicopter.
That was red. I can't remember in Pleasantville if that was the first color that appears.
It was a rose, because they did. I'm pretty sure it was a rose, or it was lipstick or something like that. Yeah,
it probably has a deeper significance than just being the color of Vision or the color of Red Skull. He's red, and then Vision has a red skull, an indestructible red skull. But up until that point where the toaster started blinking red, I was just kind of sitting back and enjoying the sitcom part of it. I wasn't expecting it to come in at that point to show that the world was unraveling.
What did you think of the part where the boss started choking?
Yeah, that's the type of part that I was expecting to see the world begin to unravel. And that's also the part that confirms for you that this is some kind of either made up world in her head, or I don't think it's an alternate reality. But it could also be some kind of thing like we saw in Westworld Season 3, Episode 2. Wash out my mouth. But your one Maven, that was in some kind of computer program, so her mind was in there. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see that Wanda is just strapped to something.
In the Matrix.
Yeah, Wanda's in the Matrix, that's it. And that's why we're going to get Hugo Weaving in as Agent Smith, or Red Skull. Yes. But yeah, the choking scene I thought was done really well. But I think that was the first time we saw Wanda's actual voice come back. Because when she says to Vision, "Help him, Vision," that's the first time she's no longer, with her weird Western accent. And that plays into episode 2 as well, because I don't know if you remember in episode 2, there's a point where she says to, I can't remember the name of her friend, the brunette woman that calls in.
The one that we're all supposed to be really suspicious of.
Yeah. But she's talking to her about how you have to get in with Dottie in episode 2, and then again, Wanda's voice, she does a gag, and she's like, well, I could just speak in my normal voice. And then suspicious woman starts laughing, and then she goes back to talking like a Southern American.
Ah, so she's putting it on, but then why would she put it on in her own house? Or maybe it. I suppose there is a certain amount of suspension of disbelief when you're watching this, insofar as how much does she know about how much she's blending in, or is she getting these moments of clarity where she realizes what's going on, but only in the same sense that a person who's in a dream can kind of grasp almost that they're in a dream, but not fully.
Yeah. And I think that's a good point to lead into episode 2, which is written by Gretchen Enders. But in that episode, remember at the end when you have the beekeeper scene, and she's climbing out of the tube, and Wanda sees it and screams. She's like, "No, no, no," and then snaps her fingers. And then they go back in time about 15 minutes, and then that's when the color starts to appear. But it seems to give this idea that Wanda, more so than Vision, is actually self-aware to an extent and doesn't want the dream to end. I don't want the dream to end. Everything has to lead to Star Trek.
No. It's like PTSD at this point.
But this is where we saw kind of a flip as well, because remember in episode 1 we had the toaster with Stark Industries. And then this one, what is it again? We have
a Strucker watch.
Oh, the watch.
It's a Hydra watch. So on the bottom of it, you can see that it says Hydra, which is, it's all really heavy-handed, But It's interesting because what you have to remember about Wanda is that she was in the care of Hydra for a number of years. So, I mean, you kind of worry about where they're going to take this story. Is she going to have to remember some painful details about her past, or are things going to develop in a very linear way in regards to Hydra are bad guys, and that's as simple as that?
Maybe this is where she is after Thanos snapped his fingers.
Why was she not in Endgame?
No, remember she disappeared.
Oh yeah.
So I'm just imagining this all took place while she had disappeared.
It's entirely possible, to be honest. I mean, there is a 5-year gap, isn't there?
Yeah, I wouldn't like that idea.
Well, I think now that you've said it, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, if any newspapers start writing articles about our review, you heard it here first. So, what do you think of the radio calls to Wanda? Who do you think that is?
I think that is a member of S.W.O.R.D.
What S.W.O.R.D.?
Right. I'm not the best at Marvel stuff, but
that's my line.
But we all know what S.H.I.E.L.D. is. So we know that S.H.I.E.L.D. is basically strategic homeland interventions, blah 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 blah, to defend the world from threats before they happen. The Avengers Initiative being an example of a S.H.I.E.L.D. idea. Nick Fury. As far as I know, S.W.O.R.D. is, and I have it written here, so I'm going to look down, Sentient World Observation and Response Department. To my knowledge, they deal with more extraterrestrial threats, which is kind of peculiar considering Wanda is a human, last time I checked. But maybe it's to do with the Infinity Stones or something. But they haven't appeared in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I don't know if they were in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I haven't watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, okay. So, for all we know, it did appear in the TV show.
Yeah.
You wouldn't catch me watching that stuff.
That's smut. All right, Liam. So, closing thoughts on the actual episodes. Are you looking forward to more? I don't know how long the run's going to go for. I don't imagine it'll be over 12 episodes.
No, it's 9 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am. Because I know nothing about it, and I think that was the blessing of going into this, because all I knew it was weird.
Nobody knows anything about this. That's the thing.
Yeah. Is there a comic book? Is it based off anything?
No idea. I wish I could say I knew everything, but no idea. I'm such a layman when it comes to Marvel.
Yeah. And any of our subscribers out there, this is uncharted territory for us, because we've just had to take a sabbatical after Star Trek. That's why we're here finding new shows to review.
We have hair.
Yes, and our hair grew back. We're no longer the baldo grumps. So, Colin, what about you? Any closing thoughts?
I'm nonplussed about it, to be honest. You know,
You're Disney nonplussed.
It's just another show to me. I'm not wrapped up in a world of wonder and stuff. I've seen Pleasantville, so I mean, yeah, I guess I don't know. Maybe I'm just burnt out on Marvel.
Yeah, but that's why I liked it, because I was burnt out on Marvel, and this is just so different that it makes me interested again.
Yeah.
So anyway, if you enjoyed this review, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. We will continue to review WandaVision for as long as it remains good, because that's our new policy. If we're not invested in the show, we just move on. We're not having a repeat of Star Trek.
Season 2.
So, no! I suppose we have to review that. Anyway, so, for the holograms, I have been Liam.
And I have been Colum.
And remember, existence is futile.